Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sonia. On this station, we normally talk about things that will improve your emotional well-being, your mental health. We share parenting tips, educational tips, and any tips that will help you to transition, that will help you transition to the United Kingdom. So thank you for these subscribers that have already subscribed, and thank you for those that will click on the button right now to subscribe. So on this segment, which is my Diaspora Journey series, I've got a very interesting topic today, which is raising responsible children in diaspora. And I have two very special guests with me. I don't think I'll be able to introduce them, so I'm just going to get them to introduce themselves and then we're going to get on with it. So, Ma and Sir, please can you introduce yourself?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay. Uh, I'm Bisi Onyeoji. Um, I don't know if I have to say anything more than my name, but yeah. Um.
If you want to tell us what you do or
Oh,
whichever,
okay.
it's up to you. Yes.
All right. Okay. So I'm Bisi Onyeoji. I am a co-pastor with my husband of a Redeemed Christian Church of God, Calvary Love City Parish in the city of Chester. I am also a social worker by practice, yeah. And
Okay.
I'm married by the grace of God, happily married with two great sons. God's grace.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Thank you, Ma.
I am Basil Onyeoji. Um, I'm a pastor by the grace of God. I pastor the Calvary Love City Church, which is a parish of the RCCG in the United Kingdom here in Chester. And I'm also a social worker in my secular job. So I combine ministry and my secular job as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. I can see you both wear different hats. Pray God strengthen you
Amen.
in Jesus' name. Okay. So I'm just going to dive into the questions because on this series we talk about our lived experience in the UK. Because a lot of people, we have influx of people coming into the United Kingdom, is wanting to come in, but it's another thing to be able to not just survive but thrive, and also to raise awesome children or family, um, uh, depending on your case. So today, the first question is, I know you didn't have your children in the United Kingdom, so you all came together, right? So I'm just going to ask the first question. How did you find your transition to the UK as a couple?
Okay, over to you,
All right. Can I just say that, because God is the most important factor in our lives. So we'll be
Yes.
referring to God a lot in this. And I know that some people may connect or watch this who are not, having God as a big or the biggest factor in their lives. So please just permit us, because that's our own experience, as it is, So transiting to the United Kingdom, I think for us, because we believe strongly that God's hand was in it for us, we didn't just
Mm.
come because we wanted a better life or because we are looking for greener pastures. We believe that God wanted us to come at the time we came, and He brought us, by His own hands. So this belief helped us in coming in and not being agitated or afraid. There are times as things come up that could make us afraid, but because we strongly believe that God was in it with us, we rested on Him, and He always, proved Himself to us. So yeah, coming in, obviously, because you're leaving everything you have, you're leaving,
Mm.
your friendship, your everything basically, even material things, you can
mm,
barely come with, I don't know how much things you can come with, even the money that you come with, no matter how large it seems when you're coming. Sometimes challenges when you come to where you're relocating to could make the funds to go off quicker than you can ever imagine, and you're like, oh my god,
yes.
our money is running out, what are we going to do, how are we going to live and all. But yes, like I said, because God is the biggest factor in our lives, is it made
Mm,
a whole lot of difference. We have testimonies that, just confirms to us that God is with us even when we got to the rock bottom, because sometimes you can get to the rock bottom of everything and it's like nothing more. And I think the other thing that I believe helped us in becoming stable on time was the fact that we were looking for spiritual stability more than any other thing. Even though we're looking for
mm,
jobs, we started looking for jobs before we even came here, and we had some interviews set up and all. But we were directed by the spiritual stability more, because we both believe that if we can achieve spiritual stability on time,
mm.
then that will make every other aspect of life to fall in place for us. And that was what
Yes.
happened to us. God really helped us with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like she said, the spiritual stability was key for us.
Mm,
And as soon as we arrived in a city in the northwest, England, we located a church, and then we stayed with the church. We were there for about 8 years.
mm.
And so within that 8 years, we kind of, you know, planted ourselves in the work, supported
Yes.
the man of God that was there, and supported the ministry, supported the church and the brethren. While we're doing God's work, he was also busy sorting us out,
Yes.
which is something that was beneficial to us. So we are being fed spiritually and being nurtured spiritually by our pastor. And at the same time, also, while we're also supporting the man of God in the assignment, God was also busy sorting us out. Now, having said that,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that we didn't have challenges, like Pastor Miss was saying. We had challenges, like she said at the beginning. It doesn't matter the amount of money you bring into this part of the world. Before a short time, if nothing is coming in, what you have will run out. And we
Mhm.
got to that
Yes.
level where everything finished, and we only had. I'm sure she's going to mention it sometime along along the line, and we only had 2 packets of Indomie noodles
Wow.
for the children. And she said to me, "Sir, it's only 2 packets of Indomies we have, and we have 2 adults and 2 children. What do we do?" I said, "Make the Indomies for the children. God will sort us out." And of course, God did sort us out. Our faith
Mm.
was stretched,
Yes.
and we thank God for that grace, that our faith was stretched. We stayed with God, and He proved Himself in our lives as well.
Maybe
Okay.
just to share the miracle, because it might encourage somebody else out there who may be going through some a time like this. The 2 packets of Indomie, we wanted to cook it, and then I discovered that the gas had finished. And so I
Mm.
said, oh, let me use the microwave to cook it. And then electricity, both of them had finished. And we just
Wow.
cooked up, and now nothing to even make the Indomie. So we just decided that we'll just praise God, and somehow something will happen. We've been to church that day. We've given our last cash as offering in church. It was a Sunday. Yeah. So as we thank God, a few minutes after, somebody just knocked on our door, and we opened the door, and it was a couple from the church. We were not even like friends or anything with them, but God put it in their hearts that day to visit us, and they came. So when they came, we were like, oh my God, what are we going to offer them? We don't even have soft drinks, we don't have anything. So we said to them that, please, if you don't mind, it's only water we have. Is it okay? And all. So they both said, oh, yeah, 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 it's fine. So we offered them water. And after some time, the husband just said to my husband, sir, please come with me. So he went with him, and he went outside. And by the time they opened the boots of their car, it was filled up with
Oh, wow.
all kinds of food that you can even think of. It was
Mm.
filled up. Granite oil, bag of rice, lots of food for us, milk, everything. Is like God just told them to go and do shopping for us.
Mm.
So they
Wow.
just, kept bringing. We were just, tears started rolling down our eyes. And when they were leaving, they gave us £20. The £20 was like 20,000 pounds to us. And with it, God worked for that miracle. Because then we now, after we praised God after they left, we now say, oh, let's go and get gas and electric. £5 to our, because we had the prepaid
Meter.
meters.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
went to the shop near us, bought them, came back home, and then put it in the machines, and 50 £50 showed for the two of them. I said, oh my God, this woman has made a mistake. Oh, she'll make me to walk back and all, because I had to go and tell her that she made a mistake. £5 and £50. There's a great difference. So I went back to the shop
Yes.
and told the woman, you made a mistake, madam. See, I only asked for £5. You sold £50 to me. She said, no, that's not possible. I said, it is, because the meter showed £50 for the two. She said, no, it's not possible. So I said, see, I didn't even think of checking the receipt. I said, bring your receipt. So I gave it to her. So we looked at the receipt. It was £5. She said, no, madam, there's no way I'll do 50-50. It was £5.
Wow.
Up till today, we still don't know how that happened. But it just showed us, we were both like, God, you're too
Mm.
awesome.
Mm.
Even with,
Mm.
material things, you could still
Yeah.
work miracles, and that 50-50 pound that time lasted us
Wow.
months
Mm.
without us needing to buy. Yeah. So,
Wow. This is mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. Right. Listen, let me summarize in case maybe you are too blown away the way I am. Let me summarize. Their faith was really, really tight.
mm,
Absolute faith. Not thinking of what if not. Absolute faith. According to both of them, it said their spirituality was their foundation. You are in the country. What is your foundation? Is it your certificates, your papers that you came with? That is your foundation. Is it reliability on the people? Reliance on the people that you already know here? Or because you came with a good paying job, is that what you are relying on? You need to define what it is that is going to be your foundation when you get into a new place. It's so important to plug themselves into a Bible believing church, and then their spirituality was well sorted. That was not even negotiable. Their faith was what I sealed. I always tell people that everything you want to do in life, you need a strategy. Things don't just happen. You have
mm,
to have a strategy. So please, if there's anything you're going to take away, just starting this interview, hold on tight to that. Sort out your spirituality. Remember, they did not say your Christianity, they said your spirituality, meaning your one on one relationship with your Creator. Sort it out and also have faith that is not negotiable. Thank you so much. That is just mind blowing. It's
mm,
blown me out. Wow. Right. I have another question. The second one is, what did you do as a family to ensure that your children integrated? I'm not quite sure how old both of them were when they came in, but I know they were quite young. So how did you ensure that they integrated well? Because I know that adults kind of find it a little bit easier, but the children also have their challenges, whether you know it or not. But
mm.
just then, how did you ensure that they integrated well into the system as well?
Okay. Do you want to go first?
You can go. I'm here to support.
Praise. Okay, I was going to say praise God. I'm so used to it. Sorry. Yeah. I think in addition to church setting, obviously, where they made friends and all, school was also an important part. Our first son was just 4 when we came, so he went into reception. So we were quite intentional about the kind of school we wanted them to go to, so we wanted a Christian school. He went to a Catholic school. It wasn't very large school. It was more like a family. They were like 100 altogether
All
from year
together. Yeah.
reception to year 6. So
6. Yeah.
people knew themselves, yeah, and he was able to integrate easily into the school, even though I think he was the only black person at the time.
Yeah.
But he was we encourage friendship in school as well. we ourselves try to make friends with other parents
when we go to drop
when
people
we
off.
go to drop him off,
Yeah,
saying hello to people, getting to know
know
people.
them.
So yeah, and of course, because we are special, we are the only
Easily
ones of color.
identified
So
people
everybody
of color.
everybody knew us. So and we were both friendly with people too. We
Yeah,
wanted to just
integrate as well.
integrate as well,
Yeah.
which really helped us. Because like the Bible says that he that will have friends must first of all himself be friendly. So
Mm.
we were open to friendship and for our children as well. So they had friends from the youngest one only went to like play group, but he also had friends and we encouraged it. We tried to know the friends' parents and
Yeah.
all. So they started doing things together, maybe football.
Yeah.
Their own parents can pick our own children. Sometimes we pick their own children. So we sort of encourage all that. We also encourage them getting involved in everything that they were interested in swimming, football. They joined a football club and yeah, so all of that helped them to find their feet quickly,
Mm.
and
Yes.
develop their own
Mm.
friendship network.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So,
just
now that she's spoken on that, I was just going to ask you, how did you ensure the integration in school? Because you're talking about the parent side, the
yeah.
collaboration with other parents. I will appreciate if you can speak to the school side of things. How did you ensure you build that rapport with them?
Because myself and Pastor Mrs. I call her Bisi, sorry. Myself and Bisi, we kind of take turns in picking the children and dropping them off from in school. And every time we go, when our son comes back, the first thing I ask is, who is your friend? What's his name? And then he tells us the friend, tells us the name. And then when I go to drop him off, I'll be looking forward to seeing that child's parents.
Ah,
So as soon as I see the parent and I see the child, I'll go and walk up to them, introduce myself. I'm Chin's dad, and that's how we got talking, and then ask them what
yes.
they do. They ask me what we're doing, when did we arrive the country, and things like that. And then when it is like pick up time, also we either she or myself will go again, and then she will find another parent again whose child is also a friend to our son, and then interact again and get to know them. And
Mm,
from that level, we moved to the level whereby our son was celebrating his 50th birthday. And I said, oh, who among your friends, who do you want to bring? He mentioned about 10 of them. I said, okay, that's great.
mm,
Bring them. Let's go to McDonald's. Where do you want to go? He said, Dad, it's McDonald's. I said, that's fine. Let's go to the markets. And so we took all the kids to the markets,
And their parents
and their
wow.
came
parents
along.
came along as
Yeah,
well.
so
So that's how the integration, we started building that relationship and start integrating ourselves and our sons into the system and in people in among his friendship groups. And
Yeah.
lo and behold, before you know it, the thing has increased to the extent that
Oh, wow.
we know his head teacher, we know his class teacher, they know him very well. Everything that we know
Yes.
everybody, and everybody knows us, as it were. And so that's
Wow.
the way we kind of walked our way in integrating our
Yes.
son and integrating ourselves with other families. And when they were having their own birthdays as well,
we always make time.
we make time to attend as well, you know.
Yes.
And then from there they had small groups that they formed in school, like when they are doing school shows, school activities, after school
Yes.
club. Those are the things that we were
Mm.
part of as well.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. You might just think these tips are just, it came easy to you people, but I can see intentionality in everything that you
Mm.
did as a couple. And then you also showed your children how to do that, by asking them those questions. Who are your friends? Because I've had people say, oh, it's so hard to make friends here. They don't talk to me. But I love that Bible quote where he said, who wants a friend? You must first make yourself friendly as well. It's very, very important that you pay attention to your children. Which name are they mentioning? Get to know the child. You see what you did. As in the way both of you did it strategically, it's so lovely. You walk up to the person, introduce yourself. I'm sure they will speak to you then. Instead of you waiting for them to come to you,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
don't you initiate it? walk up to them, introduce yourself. This person is my son, because the way your child is mentioning that person's name at home, I'm sure their children is also mentioning yours. So
Mm.
Yeah.
putting a face to that name is very, very important.
Yeah.
You know, doing as in presenting yourself the way you want to be treated, and also treating them like that. So don't always wait for people to walk up to you, because it may
Mm.
never happen. Because
Yeah.
they might also be waiting for you to walk up to them,
Yeah.
walk up to people, introduce yourself, introduce your child. If they are doing a celebration, be part of it. In school as well, get to know the people that are teaching your children. It's very, very important, because our children spend up to 7 hours in school, and
Hmm.
then you don't still know these people. It's a bit funny. Thank you so, so much for that. Thank you. So I noticed that your two children were young, right? So a lot of people, they struggle with finding the appropriate childcare. People are
Mm.
really struggling. Like, how do I do? How do you people do it here? How do you have young children and still work? So if you could just throw, I know you've touched on a little bit that you took turns, but how did you work that? How did you choose the day center and everything? How did you work it out
Mm.
around your working time?
Okay.
Sure.
I think you know there are there are different arrangements that we had at different times.
Mm,
But the first arrangement wasn't free, because when you still don't have the very strong connection and things with people, you might have to just pay. So we were willing to prioritize their care above ourselves,
mm,
and make sure that the care is safe, even though it was costing us money. I think from my first job, what we were paying for our younger son then was, I can't remember how many percentage of my salary was going on it, because he wasn't of
wow.
full age, but he still needed to be in a safe place from morning
Yeah.
till when I finished work, and I was finishing at 5. So as we're paying the after school club for the older one, we were also paying for his own is it nursery or play group
Playgroup.
that he was in then for the whole day. So yeah, it costed us, let me just put it that way, a bit, but we didn't mind, because we felt it's better for them to be safe. We need
Yes.
battery charging. It's better for them to be safe, and
Um,
for us also to have peace of mind at work. We are not worried and
Yes.
thinking, oh my God, what could have happened and all. So we had that in place for some time. And then as our connections became stronger, in fact, one of their friends in school, the older one of the friends in school, we got to know not just the parents, but even the grandparents. We were that connected to that family. So the grandparents live very close to the school, that they were willing to have him with their own grandson anytime we were not finishing on time. So that also helped us until we had other people who we could then make arrangements to say, you will pick all the children in them. We had a very good family friend. I drop the children in the mornings, or we drop the children in the mornings because we share it, and then they pick them up after school to their
Mm,
place. So when we finish work, we go there, pick them, and go back home. So we had that at some other time as well. And then there was a time too that we had to arrange for taxi to pick the children, because this family
yes.
that we were co-sharing with, they moved further away from the school, and the wife wasn't driving. So, and it wasn't possible for the children to walk the distance. An adult can, but we all felt no, it would be too much for the children. So we approached a taxi company, set it up with them, and we told school as well. School was quite understanding. At that point, the two of our own children were in the school, and our friend's son was also in the school, making 3 of them. So every
Yes.
afternoon, the taxi company will go pick them and take them to our friend's family home. The mom is always there, so
Yes.
drop them with them. So we had different arrangements at different times.
Yes.
But sometimes it may cost you money, but for us, we prioritize them. We didn't mind not. parting with that money because we knew that it was for a
Yes.
time. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ma. So listen, support system is so key. It's really, really important. Don't be chasing the pounds and you don't even greet your neighbor. Don't be chasing
Mm,
the pounds and then you don't say hi to people at the school gates. Saying hi doesn't hurt. Try and build relationship.
mm,
Support system is so fundamental because you never know when you will need those people. It's very, very important to make yourself friendly. Thank you so much. So I'm going to come to you now, right? So I know your children are really big. They went through the teenage stage. That is a big one, a big, big one. So raising teenagers can be very, very challenging because
Mm,
even though they are really, really big, their emotions is big, but their sense of reasoning does not really grow with their height and their size. So as a
mm,
mm,
result of that, they might make different decisions that you'll be wondering, this person, you are so tall, why are you behaving like this? But the truth is, their reasoning and their emotions is just different.
mm,
Their emotions grow with their size, but their reasoning, unfortunately, it doesn't. So I'm just wondering, how did you manage during the teenage years? Because right now we have the gun crimes, we have the the gun culture, the knife. We have a lot of things to contend with. So how did
mm.
you manage to navigate? To raise two awesome children even after passing through their teenage years.
Thank you. So the thing, by the grace of God, the thing is, first as a father or as a mom, also parent, whether single parent or mom and dad, first you are a role model to your
Mm,
children. You are the role model that they see, even though they have their teachers and all that. That's number one factor.
yeah.
Whatever you want your children to become, you should be able to role model any character you want them to reflect. You yourself, you have to model it before them. That's
Yeah.
one bit. Then the other bit is about the choices that they make, and you
Mm,
need to enter into their minds and know what how they think and what they are thinking because as they move, as they grow older, in terms of that's the the age band, as they are growing, their their thinking changes, their
yes.
friendship group changes. As a
Yes.
parent, you have to go into it and get to know what they are thinking per time, and that involves you communicating with them. They come back from school. How was school today? What did you do? Did you make new friends? What did you do with your friends? And what was school like? You've got to build that relationship with your children. That's the first
Yes.
thing. And then once you get them on board, and they have access to you, they are not afraid to speak their minds, and
Mm,
they can't hide much from you because they see you as their friend. Even though they know you're a parent, but at the same time you have
yes.
and they can access you to
Yes.
share their feelings with you. In that way, you are able to guide them in
Mm,
the choices that they make. Now, there are
yes.
friends that they may be keeping because they have shared some things that the friends have told them immediately, as a dad or a mom. There's a red flag. They don't know that it's a red flag, but you discern straight, it's a red flag. Then you navigate them away from such kind of friends. And that's
Mm,
that's another way of helping and molding them and ensuring that they are not easy targets to all those kind of challenges that their peers face. So
yes.
your primary role will be as a role model first. Secondly,
Yes.
communicate with them, enter into their world, know what they are thinking, know what they like, know what they don't like, know what upsets them. You just have to know these things by speaking
Yes.
with them. Don't
Yes.
assume if they're not talking to you. Don't assume that everything is all right. It's a smoke screen.
Yes.
You just have to get into them, communicate with them, and they'll be able to
Yes.
open up some things to you. because you've asked
Yes.
them. But if you don't ask them, they don't speak.
That's right.
So God has helped us, and we're able to navigate our children away from danger, away from wrong friends, and they are what they are today by the grace of God.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the other bit again about the, like you talk about the knife crime and all those kind of things that happen. As a parent as well, one of the things we are very particular about is location, where
Mm.
we want to bring up our children. And it's not far-fetched to know. All you need to do is look at the statistics in terms of
Yes.
where the crimes are happening, and look at the other statistics where there is low crime rate and things like that. And those are the areas that we decide to pitch our tent, where there are low crime rates.
Yes.
A lot of time people don't think about these things. They just look at, oh, the house is
Mm.
cheap in this area, let's go and live there too. After all, we are all in UK. It's not
Yes.
like that. It doesn't work like that. There are UK and there are UK. If I put it that way, So, but we have to navigate things and know where you just have. You must, as a parent, you must have a mental picture. Where do I want to raise my children? And
Kind of
Yes.
what
environment.
kind of environment do I want to raise my children? Those are the things
Yes.
as a parent that we need to iron out as couples. You need to iron that out straight away. And once you have that picture, then you can be able to navigate your way, look at the statistics and know where to go. Maybe you want to add one or two things.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Just to
Thank you,
further,
sir.
yeah, thank you. Just to further speak on that, I think most children, particularly, our own color children, because we are coming from, external many times. Some of our children are born here, so they know what it is to grow up from birth here. But many of the
Yeah.
times, people bring in children, and the environment is very, very important, because
Mm.
the environmental factors are even the things that are more very important when it comes to all this knife crime, gangs, and all. Many children
Yes.
don't want to do these things, but they are compelled by peer pressure because
Yes.
of the environment they find themselves. You know, there was a time I read in the news about 6 children or so sentenced to prison in Manchester, somewhere in
Mm.
Manchester, and somebody was telling me about one of them, and from the news too, we heard that one of them was actually in the uni, and he was a very
Yes.
brilliant boy, but the
Yes.
environment he found himself, it's like you can't really get yourself out of it. You
Yes.
must belong to one side. You can't
That's right.
just be neutral and all. So in that sense, where you want to rent a house matters. We wouldn't mind paying more to live in a,
Mm.
not because we want to prove anything, but because we are thinking of the environment for our children. We don't want them to be
Yes.
where, because if the crime is predominant in the place, you have a lot more challenges,
Yes.
to combat with, rather than when you are in a place where there's no knife crime, there's no there's no gang, so to say. Everybody just go
Yes.
on their own and do their own stuff.
Mm.
Then your children are less likely to be influenced into such culture, because you have put them in the right kind of environment. The other thing I think we'll need to talk about is also the foundation of the children in terms of their spiritual lives, using the scriptures with them, helping them to know the scriptures. The Bible says that we train up a child in the way that he will go, and when he's old, he
Mm.
will not depart from it. No matter
Yes.
what happens to them in life, because you've laid that foundation with scriptures for them, their default will always be scripture.
Yes.
Sometimes they may struggle with it, because sometimes they will ask you questions and want to question even those scriptures, and say, but mom, dad, but this is happening, but that is happening, why is God not, they will ask you all sorts of questions, and you must be there
Yeah.
as parents to be able to answer them and help them to understand that God is not the author of evil in the world. The devil is, but yeah,
Yes.
evil is here in the world, and we need
Yeah.
to be on the side of God to be able to overcome all evils and all. So yeah, scripture is very, very key. Because I remember that when they go wrong or when they make some choices, and I'll say to them, it's not for you. They know, they will say, I
Mm,
know it's not for you, Lemuel. I'm always ringing it in their ears. It's not for you. Maybe for other people, but it's not for you. So
that's
they don't
right.
say that. Even in uni, they hear my voice saying Proverbs 1:10 sometimes will come to them, because that's another scripture
Yes.
that we are always, if sinners entice you, do not consent. They know it,
That's
yeah.
right.
So that foundation is
Wow.
important.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. You see, there's a way your contributions kind of align with one another, and I'll point it out. When start talk about line of communication, make sure you keep it open. It's very important. I noticed that a lot of Africans, I'm not saying all, I'm saying a lot, have this authoritarian parenting style. And as a result, I've said it. Why did you say it? Because I said so. You are shutting the line of communication gradually, and you wouldn't even notice. Very soon, they are expecting because I said so. There is
Yeah.
no further clarity. And as a result, I don't want to come back and hear the same thing over and over again. So that door will be shutting bit by bit. You wouldn't notice it. And then you also said, you said, respond. But a lot of people are very reactive. I listened carefully when you said, when they ask questions, be ready to answer. That is respond. Do not start reacting. Oh, are you backsliding? Oh, why are you asking me this question? Get all dramatic about things. You are shutting the door. Sooner rather than later, they will not come to you. But like Mom said, respond. Sad said, keep the line of communication. All of these are communication. So just keep it open. It doesn't matter how cynical you think of their question. You don't have to display it. Just be ready to answer it so that they can be free to come to you for more, because whoever informs them transforms them. So we
Mm,
have to be really, really careful about the way we do things, because people out there, they don't react. They respond in a very subtle way to them, and they will
Mm,
endear their hearts. So we have to be very, very careful. The Bible said, be as wise as a serpent, but be as gentle as a dove. So we
mm,
have to remember that. It's very, very important. And then you said something, you said, be a role model to them. I don't understand it when you are doing all sort of things and then you're saying, don't do as I do as I say.
mm.
Who are we deceiving? You are shouting at mom is shouting at dad, and you are saying, don't shout at me. What are we talking about here? It doesn't make sense. You just
Doesn't.
did it 2 seconds ago, and then you don't want me to do it. So it's
mm,
like you're a hypocrite, and these children will not be scared to call you out.
mm.
They
The-
have been brought up to speak up their mind.
and like you were saying about the young people, they are very quick to identify a hypocrite. That's what
Yes.
they have been trained. They are the way they've been schooled here. They are very quick to identify a hypocrite, and it's going to be a
Yes.
shame that a child's parents are hypocrites, because
Mm,
they it's a case of just do what I say but don't do what I do. But the
yes.
children, our children here, they are raised to be authentic.
Yes.
Every child of color is raised to be authentic. The way the system operates here, be yourself, be yourself.
Yes.
And so authenticity is ingrained in them. And that's the reason why some things they don't understand, many times they ask the question why. And the why
Yes.
question is a very big question, which a lot of times my contemporaries from the diaspora,
You find the
they
challenge.
find it very challenging to respond to.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the children are schooled in such a way that to ask the question why. So
Yes.
we, my generation, that we need to have that change of mentality in order
Mm,
to, and we have to reschool ourselves in the new culture that we found ourselves, to be able to
yes.
respond to the children's questions of why.
Yes. You see, it's not being disrespectful. It's the way. like Sarah said, is the way they are brought up. Curiosity, this is why you see inventions are being created. They ask a question. That's the reason they were able to create, make those inventions that you and I are enjoying right now. So it's about, and I love the word that you use again. So I said, navigate them away from such friends. You did not use stop them. You did not
Mm.
use judge them. You did not say compel them. You said navigate them. Now, if you, in case you are thinking, why am I so keen on that word? When you are using your sat nav, it tells you what to do. It does not compel you. If you say take left and you did not take left,
Mm.
it's you, where you find yourself, that's your problem. It's not going to shout at you. He said take on the next turn, take left. That's been navigated. So we have to pay attention at the words that are carefully being used there. If you see your child, your daughter hanging out with the wrong people, it is your responsibility to navigate them. When you start castigating such friends, they will love them even more.
Mm.
It's just the truth. They will love them even more. That curiosity, you have triggered it in a wrong way. And then they will start doing it to wind you up whenever, for example, they have a differences with you. So please. And then the final one is location, location, location. There's this advert they do. They talk about location, location, location. It's very, very important. I like the way Mark is saying spend money if you have to. It's not like you want to show off, but
Mm.
something has to give.
Mm.
It's not spending all those money on those old one bear, buying the cloth scarf that you never use again, buying
Mm.
Mm.
materials that you just go and show off. But when it's time to pay that little extra for your child's comfort or for your family comfort, you start thinking it's too expensive. We have to be intentional. Nobody just woke up and have excellent children. Something has to give. So, what are you willing to give to have awesome children? That is the question. Thank you so much, Ma. I'm just going to ask I don't know the time we have. Yeah, we still have a bit of time. Okay. So, as a couple, I just want to know, as in, what do you do as a family to create a bit of bond within the family? Because a lot of people work, 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 work. And sometimes the husband is coming, the wife is going, and the children are seeing daddy, they are seeing mom. They don't want to have that family time. What did you intentionally do? If you could just share some tips with us.
Okay. Thank you very much. The family, I mean, everybody knows that adage that says that the family that prays together, they stay together. Now,
Yes.
I want to add to that as well to say that in addition to the family that prays together, stays together, is the family that plays. They play
Wow.
together, they also stay together. Uh,
Yeah.
that's the bit we do most of the time. We try as much as we can, as time will permit us, or let me put it this way, we create that time for ourselves to have meals with our children together. We can watch films together. We can take them to visit families that we know. We can kind of a planned weekend. We go and visit a family and spend time together. The adults will be bonding, while the children also will be bonding. And I think we've got a family that we started it how many years ago?
Oh,
It's over
for
10.
as long as
It's
we've
over
been.
10 years. It's over 10
Wow.
years. We and that family, they have their children of similar age with our children. And it's
Yes.
every Christmas we go to, either they come to our house or we go to theirs, and we spend the whole day, the whole
Wow.
day. Yes, the whole day we pray together as a whole family. We eat together as a whole family. And then we have what we call tete-a-tete with the children, finding from them what is
What's
it,
going on for
what's
them?
going on for them as teenagers, and
Yes.
how can we come in to help them? What is it that they are struggling with? And
Yes.
it's mind blowing. All the things you hear, they are mind blowing. And of course,
Wow.
sometimes some of the advice that we give or suggestions that we make may not go down well with them, because we are our own perspective and our perception is slightly different from theirs. But we as
Yes.
parents also learn on how to listen to them and say, okay, where are
Yes.
we? Where is it that we're not listening to you guys? Okay, how do we
Yes.
change our own style? and things like that.
Mm.
So, and that's another thing that we do with our children. So apart from spending time together, we create time together. We have what we call our own personal with our children. What do you call it? It's like a family. That's the name we gave it recently.
Yeah.
So it's like
Just
we and our children is it chill out time
together, yeah.
together, just chill
Just
out time together. We
Mm.
just sit with them, and no TV, no phone, no TV, no
Mm.
phone, just
Wow.
chat, and just okay, what's on the table now? What's the agenda? Just
Yeah.
have it, just have that moment of hearing them speak and talk, and where we also
Yes.
talk and they hear us speak. It's a way of keeping the family together, and you build that
Yes.
bridge, that letting them know that, oh, my dad is there for me, my mom is there for me. They will
Mm.
listen to me if I'm struggling. I need to speak to them. We kind of create that platform for them by way of um,
Yes.
you know having that time together with them. And of course, we go on holiday together. My wife doesn't shoot off and go to Paris with his friends, and then I'll go to America with my cronies. No, it doesn't happen that way in our home. We all, if we are going to
Yes.
Paris, we go together as a family. If we are going to America, we go
Mm.
to America together as a family. And of course, the other
Yes.
bit, which is our own strong point, is also we pray together and we share the word of God
Mm.
with them together, and we try to get their views on some of what we believe and what they believe, and want to know what they believe. I think it was
Yes.
David was saying to Solomon, say, know the God of your father. As a
Mm.
child, we must encourage them to know God for themselves. Even though they know,
Yes.
they see you as a role model, they know you believe God, they know you love God, either as a mama or as a dad, but also encourage them to know God for themselves. It goes a long way.
Yes.
When you are not there,
Yes.
they know who to speak to.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. There's a lot to unpack there. This is turning into a master class. There's just a lot to unpack there. The words that you use creates. Please pay attention. Creates. Because sometimes we're like, oh, we don't have enough time. 24 hours. We all have 24 hours. And yet you're saying you don't have enough time. If you hear the word that sir used, he said, create time. Sometimes be ready to just don't do one shift. Maybe intentionally plan towards it, that you have that time with these children. They grow so fast.
Mm,
If you do not invest in their time, now this is why when it's time for them to also look after you, they'll carry it to the care home. They will not
mm,
have any remorse,
mm,
mm.
nothing whatsoever. That's exactly what you did to them. So why would they have any remorse? So create. There's another word you use, listen and learn. When you drop that word now, it sounds so strange to my ears because not a lot of African parents, those two words, it doesn't go with parents. Maybe it goes with the children. Listen and learn is more like children listen and learn. But for a parent to say that, listen and learn from your children as well. Because when I speak, I'm always in the midst of teenagers, and their big complaint is they don't listen. Our parents are very rigid. They have a fixed mindset. But from what you're presenting, you seem to have together, you have a flexible mindset where you're saying, I'm not perfect here. I want to learn. I want to know what you are up to. What are your values? So that we know where it's gone skewed. Then you know how to navigate it back to where it should be. Because if you don't listen, you will never know what's in their mind. If you keep talking, talking, talking at them, you don't listen, you won't know what is in their mind. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Ma, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I think it's covered so much about things that
Yes.
we do together. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it covered them as
Yeah.
they get older. You discover that you'll be varying the things that you do together
Yeah.
as well, because some things may not be age appropriate again. And sometimes I've heard parents say, oh, it's because you have money that you go on holiday. It's not exactly so. It's not
Mm.
because we have money, I would say, because I don't want to say we don't have money, but we didn't have as much as we have today 10 years ago. I think
Yes.
where the issue comes with many people is they want to do what people who have been here maybe 10, 20 years
Mm.
already in this country, they want to start to do it in the same year that they arrive or the second year or
Yes.
whatever. Allow yourself to grow. Don't
Mm.
put yourself under unnecessary pressure.
Mm.
But in your
Mm.
growing years, you can still, there are things that you can still do. There was a time that we were just going on holidays at the caravan, all these caravan holidays.
Yes.
It didn't cost us up to £500 to
Pounds.
go with our children for a whole week, and we will enjoy it together.
Mm.
So it's about what you just want for your family. Some people may say, oh, £500, that would do, something, something, something. Like some people will say to me, I say, well,
Value.
it depends on your family values and what you prioritize as well.
Mm.
Don't live two
Yes.
lives at the same time. I know people who are living here, but they are still like living elsewhere in the world. So, and
Mm.
that puts a lot of pressure on them. They are doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs, not resting, not, it just, it can be quite damaging eventually. So
Yes.
prioritize
Yes.
time with the children, just like you said. If you don't spend any time with them now, and once they go to uni, to be honest with you,
That's it.
they don't really
Oh,
want to even know if you have time. If you say come
yeah.
that you have time, they
Game
will be
over.
telling you no, we don't need you. But if they are used to spending time with you, they will still create some time to
Yeah.
spend with you.
Yeah.
Like we all know, teenagers, once they get to that year, those ages, they want to spend more time with
Yeah.
friends
With their friends.
than you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
enjoy the time with them now, no matter what your level is. You don't need £1,000, 10,000 to go
Mm.
on holiday. Just look for the ones that your budget can, fit into,
Yeah.
and do it with them. It goes a long way to
Um,
make them feel that, family sense as well, that, we went somewhere together.
Mm.
yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. That's very, very key. When you said so much living into word, living here, living, I get that one. It's costing a lot of pressure unnecessarily.
Mm,
Sometimes I
unnecessary.
just want to know the points. Choose where you want to be. I have about 3 questions left. You seem to be well into your family, right? How do you create time? I've had people thinking, in this country, how do couples get together, like still have time for just couple time? Because everything seems to be is either the work is taking your time or the children are taking your time. How do you create time for just you and uncle? Because I know you guys have been married for over 20 years now. How do you still keep the wine, getting sweeter and sweeter?
Mm. Do you want to go first?
No, it's question is directed to you. That
Right,
when
okay.
you have contributed a little, just you answer
Yeah.
it.
We just, to be honest, one has to be intentional about that as well.
Yes.
One has to be, to keep that relationship strong and stronger as you go on in life, because interactions leads us to relationship. The more you
Yes.
interact with yourselves, the stronger your relationship with yourselves become.
Mm.
The same way it works with God as well. If we don't interact
Yeah.
with him on a daily basis, we just see that our relationship with him starts to die. And it's the same way with married couples as well. So being intentional about it. There were times, in our lives in this country, and even before we came here, that we had to take some decisions that may not sound popular to other people. There was a time after we've been here for a few years that my husband got a job in London that would have added
Would have
like
added like
maybe another 10K or so to our income, because we've always, done things together. And we looked at it and we had to be very realistic with ourselves, because that would mean that he will be living away from home,
mm,
those days. So I will be left with the 2 children, our sons. That will create challenges for our relationship with ourselves.
yeah.
And we just told ourselves, see, this 10K or whatever, we'll have it in the next, who knows, maybe it can even be less than 1 year. Let's leave it.
Mm,
Tell them you can't come to this job, because we just wanted to prioritize our relationship. We didn't want a situation where we're living apart. We didn't we, jo-
mm,
we chose not to. many times refusing to leave apart. There have been times that I also have had offers that would have made me maybe live away from home, sometimes
mm,
because one can work from home on some days, but
In,
maybe
in a,
maybe 3 days you'll be there in Jersey, in Isle of Man or Isle of Wight, or all sorts of places with more
yes.
money attached to it. But we just have to tell
Yes.
ourselves life is more than money. We are not doing
Yeah.
it. Particularly when our children were still young, and even up till
Yeah.
now, we still don't do it. Anything you offer me that will make me not to come back home that same day, I'm not doing. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm satisfied. I just say it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
is not everything in life.
That's right.
So making those intentional decisions has really helped us. And then we
Yeah.
create time for ourselves as well,
mm,
as much as
Yeah.
possible. Yeah,
Thank you.
we just sometimes we just put the phones aside, said let's leave the world out. Intentionally, we don't have a TV in our bedroom because we
Mm.
don't want, once we come up,
the bedroom is a sanctuary.
it's for us, it's not for external people to come in. So
No
we
Right.
don't want
no TV in our
externals. And
bedrooms.
sometimes we just keep the phone to aside and let it just be two of us.
I know that might sound very weird to hear,
Human.
particularly
Yes.
in these days that everybody has TV in the toilet, there's TV in the
Yeah.
kitchen, TV,
It's just too much.
it's all
Yes.
interferences. So for us, our
Yeah.
that decision has been a very long-standing decision. It's
Mm.
part of our married values. No TV in our
Yeah.
bedroom. No stereo. No, even Alexia is not in our room. So it's just a sanctuary where myself and my wife we spend time together, and
Yes.
we hear each other's voice, and I can tell by the tone of our voice if she's not happy. I can tell, and she can tell as
Wow.
well if I'm angry. She knows by the tone of my voice. By just hearing two
Yeah.
sentences, she knows that you are not happy. What's going on? And it's very very intentional. We are
Yeah.
living. We have to live for one another and live enjoy each other's company.
Yes.
Even as couples. And the
Yeah.
greatest challenge a lot of people have is the issue about the husband is working far away, or there's a
Yeah.
multiple shift patterns. And when are you going to enjoy the wife of your youth or the husband of your
Mm.
youth? When are you going to enjoy it? You see when you are eating 70 years old. No, life is too short. Enjoy it
Yeah.
now. Money is money. Even without money, love is still stronger than money. I hope you know love is
Yeah.
stronger than money, because money will
Yes.
fail. Love does not fail.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, sir. When my just said that money, no, we'll make it, we'll make it again. That intentionality. Greed will not kill us, sir. Greed will
Mm.
not kill us, man. When they just 10,000, come and be going. I'll be okay. And then by the time the children are showing you shaggy because they are missing their dad, that
Yeah.
10K, you'll be thinking, you probably pay 10K, looking after the other things to now support the children
Mm.
and bring them back
Mm,
again to a stable mental health and well-being. So we
mm,
have to be really careful, be very
mm.
mindful about the decisions that we make
Mm.
because there is always a consequence, a
There is.
reward for each choice that you make. And I like
Mm.
what you said, sir. That one bust my head. You said she only have to say two words, and you already know her tone, just her tone like this, because you switch up the word. So you pay attention to her voice. And if there is anything wrong, just two words, you picked it up. Wow. That just, hey, we are learning. That is so powerful, absolutely powerful, because it's so noisy. The
Mm,
TV, the radio, the phone, Alexia, everything that people will be talking to you, you are not in tune with them
mm,
because we are so distracted. So
mm,
sometimes just turn everything off and focus on the one that is right in front of you. So you'll be able
mm.
to pick up the body language, the voice, and everything. Thank you, sir. Me, I'm going away with that one. I'm holding on tight to that. That is so powerful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So I think the final question is a lot of people will like, oh, my parenting style is different from my wife's or my husband. You know, my husband gives the children everything they want, and it makes me feel like the bad cop. Or my wife just say yes, yes, yes to everything, and he doesn't even ask me. Once I say no to the children, they'll bypass me and go to their dad, and their dad will say, those different parenting styles. I don't know if your parenting styles are the same, but if it is, or if it is different, how did you navigate that to ensure that you create a united front to the children and there is no loophole?
Okay. Um, just for us, and I don't know if you a lot of people know this pattern. When you have a mixture of children, particularly you
Mm,
have boys and girls as part of your children, many times the boys they flow towards mom, while the
yes,
girls flow towards dad.
not that.
Yeah,
Yes,
and of course, naturally, the mom is harder on the girls
yes,
and softer on the boys, while the father is softer on the girl and harder on the boys. Now,
yes,
if your family mix is like that, then both the man and the woman must have a common ground.
mm,
When it has to do with some set of, let's say, for example, um, um, the child is asking for ice cream, and this is after they've had their meal, and if she has taken, let's say the child, maybe a girl, she has taken the first ice cream, and then she's asking for the second one. She won't come to mom to ask, she'll go to dad. Now, if mom
mm,
has said no and she comes to dad, it's dad responsibility to say, your mom said no. No. Stick to your
yes,
mom, stick to the wife's whatever the wife has said. Now, the reverse can be the case when it is a boy. He goes to the
mm,
mom, and a mom will say, okay. And then, because dad has said no, he will go to mom. But the mom need to also pick up the cue from dad. Once dad has said no,
yes,
when the child comes, the first question is, what did your dad say? Challenge them without question. And they know that, oh, if dad has said no to
yes,
me, definitely mom is saying no to me. There's no need for me to change, to move an inch any longer. But many
mm,
times parents compromise. And the reason why they
yes,
compromise is to have what I call a false peace of mind. I don't want the children's trouble. Give them what they want, John. Let them. If you are giving them what they want when
mm,
they are two, you will keep giving them what they want when they are 13, when they are 14, and they'll become unruly. And it will come to a
yes,
point where they'll be disrespectful. So you need
yes,
to ask, you need to checkmate it and mold them up. If mom has said no, mom has said no. And if dad has
mm,
said no, dad has said no. And of course, before any of them to kind of have what I discuss, what we call personal, which right word that we will I use now. You have a personal conviction that what your wife is saying is correct and what your husband has said is
yeah,
correct, so that you stand on the same ground. Don't shift. The children will be
yes,
watching who is going to shift, who is going to shift. If they know that
mm,
it's mom that will shift, they will naturally flow to mom and go and get their
yeah,
way. But if they know that dad does not shift his ground, then mom will not shift his ground. Then they stick to what you tell them to, whatever you tell them, they stick to it. But the moment any of you shift
mm,
ground, forget it. They will catch on it, and then it become a case of, well, let them go. Let them look. Let's have our peace of mind. Let them go. If you let them go
yeah,
now, be prepared to let them go later on.
yes, yes. Thank you very, very much, sir. You see, that's very practical. Let those that have ears, let them hear. Don't just listen, but please, parenting, especially if you're husband and wife, you have two people there. You have to work in unity because they said, can two work together except they agree? We have to
Mm.
work in unity. It's very, very important. And the children have to see that. My last question, ma, I'm going to come to you on this one. You know, a lot of people, they always see their children as being successful when they are academically thriving.
Mm,
And they don't really care so much. It's when you come with all A stars that you are okay. But at the end of the
mm,
day, if you are not academically thriving or you are comparing them with other people, that's when you are like, oh yeah, I got B. Did your mates, what did your mate get? They got A. You know, those kind of things kind of rub off on children in a
mhm,
wrong way, that they start having lack of self-confidence, and they will do other things to get your attention. And that can transcribe into other things, unruly
mm.
behavior, just doing things to get your attention in one way or the other. How did you navigate it, that you, because I can see your children academically, they are okay, mentally they look secure, they don't look like children that don't have confidence. How did you manage to do this as a family?
Okay. I'll attempt to answer.
Mm.
I think, from what we've said before, by the grace of God, because of the kind of home environments that has helped us to create for them, they both feel that love. They live in a loving, warm, caring, calm family environment, which is very important for children. And it
Yeah,
goes a long way in helping them to grow up to, become level-headed, respectful, polite to other people, and strong as well. So
yeah,
we don't only focus on academics. Academics is a strong one for me, but I know that life is beyond academics, because life is more than just what we, even our careers. Life is more than careers as well. Life,
yeah.
you have to look at the emotional side of life, the social side of life.
Yes,
You don't want a child that is not well rounded.
yes,
So as you're helping them with academics, you're also helping them to grow emotionally and
mm,
socially, so that they can relate with other people in a positive way. They can be
mm,
positive influences on other people as well. So I think from when they were young, we kind of help them to know and appreciate the family values, written
yes,
and unwritten. Sometimes
mm,
we once wrote them out, when they were younger,
yes,
for them to appreciate it and understand it. And our family values are mostly biblical based values. So
yes,
those values, they grew up with them. As they grew older, we brought them even into, reviewing and amending and making the family values more robust, help bringing them
mm,
to contribute to it. Because once they also contribute to it, the sense of ownership comes into it. So they know that
yes,
this is what, as a family, we want to present ourselves to be and want to live to be. So that
mm,
goes a long way in helping them. So as they grow older, I think they just sometimes they ask us questions about those things, and we would answer them as well. Sometimes they may struggle at accepting some of the things initially, but as you give them the explanation, you help them to reason with you as well. Because one of the other things that we intentionally did with them is for them to develop the ability of making the right choices or positive
mm,
choices in life from when they were young. So we
mm,
tend to like help them to think through things, particularly with
yes,
me. We'll think through it. Why do you think this
yes,
is good for you to do? Why do you want to do it?
yes,
What do you think will be the outcome? How will the outcome impact on you? And things like that.
yes,
So they know the process of making choices, so that when
yes,
they now have to make those choices on their own, they are not left without a process on how to make choices.
yes,
Because that's one thing that I think can be a problem if children don't know the process of making choices, the right choices, and they find themselves needing to make choices. It might become, too challenging for them, And they may not want to
Yes.
come back to you at every point in time. Maybe they're in uni. They just, they too want to show that they are responsible.
Mm.
So it's
Mm.
good for that foundation to be there for them, that they have a process of making informed decisions. If they need to find out more, they go out to find out more about whatever decisions they want to make, and then they can make that decision. But I won't rule out the role of prayer as well. Prayer really
Yes.
really works, in molding and forming our children as parents. We need
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
praying for them. We need to be praying with them as well. If they
Yes.
share anything with us and we feel, you know, after counseling and talking and all, you can just say to them, prayer would also go a long way in this matter. Do you want us to pray together
Yes.
about it? Once they are used to that from when they are young, even when they have issues as teenagers, even you counsel and all, but you find
Yeah.
them still saying, "Mom, can you pray with me? Dad, can you pray
Yeah.
with me?" And all, yeah, because they themselves have now grown to know that prayer does work. So all
Yes.
together, I think, yeah, just making sure that you are not just only focused on academics, but
Yeah.
rather help
Yes.
them, to grow up emotionally as well. One of the things that I think would be beneficial, because we have two boys, as they were growing, the older one would always want to annoy the younger one, and
Okay.
he found it easy at some point. So I told the younger one, I said, "Come here, don't
Mm.
let him be in control of your emotions." He said, "Mom, what do
Mm.
you mean? Getting me angry is always." I said, "You are allowing yourself to be angry, and you're
Yes.
dancing to his tune. It's like he knows what to do to get you
Yes.
angry. So it's
Mm.
controlling your emotions." I said, "You need to
Yes.
learn, be in control of your own emotions." So he said, "But how?" I said, "Okay, come, let's talk about it." So we we had sessions about emotional regulation, emotional control, that kind of thing, that you don't have to give people the pleasure of them controlling you. You be in control of your
Yes.
emotions. Whatever they are doing or saying, let it not be your the key for your emotions. You
Yes.
hold the key,
Yes.
and you will see
Yes.
that they will stop, because they are not finding pleasure again in what they are doing.
Yes.
So that really helped him, and he always says it, that, "Oh, mom really helped me with this." Yeah,
Oh,
and it
wow.
goes with them everywhere they go
Yes,
to.
it does.
So they don't
It
allow people
does.
to rule them. Mm.
And
It
the
does.
only the
Thank you
only bit I
so
want to
much,
add to
man.
it, uh,
Yes. Yes.
am I to add a little bit to it?
Sir, please, please, by all means.
I want to add a bit about the all-round development. Now, we one of the things we also did, we also try to know what they like. For example, there are boys, they like
Mm.
football. Uh, we were, myself and
Mhm.
my wife were running head basket on Saturday morning. She will be in one pitch and I'll be in the next pitch, and I'll be calling on the phone. Have you guys arrived? Who is winning? And then all of a sudden, the background,
Yes.
your parents shouted, "Go!" and all that kind of a thing.
Yeah, we
So we
supported their
supported their
interests, their
interests,
hobbies.
their whatever,
Yeah,
like food, they love football. So we supported their interests.
basketball.
They love
Yeah.
basketball. The younger one played basketball. We supported his interest as well. We're always taking them, taking it to basketball, or the older one to football on Saturday
Yeah.
mornings or Monday evenings, where the younger one plays basketball. So it's also a way of that helps them also to that get to be developed all around. So
Yes.
I know that we come from that place whereby we are focusing on academic excellence, but brethren, I
Yes.
say
Yes.
brethren.
It's okay, sir.
But the thing is that
I've once said praise God before in presentation at work.
but the thing is that our children should be developed all around.
Yeah.
So whatever it
Yes.
is that they are interested in, support them.
Yes.
Don't let them feel as if they are no good.
Yeah,
Support,
because they are not
Yes.
academically, up there. No.
just support them.
Yes.
It goes a long way in helping their overall development. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so, so much. This is a Class. This is just so rich. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, sir, for for this contribution. I can see you did not raise your children up like the traditional African parents, and the seed you'll be able to see now. You have awesome children that they might not be perfect, but at least they are very
Mm,
confident and secure in their own skin. Their identity, they are
mm,
aware of it.
mm,
Self-aware emotional intelligence. I always used to use the remote control analogy for my children. I said, hold this remote, she hold it, press the television, and then she press it, it starts. And then the next one is saying, put this on. You saying it is not going to change that TV. Whoever owns the remotes is the boss of the TV for that time. So I tell them, if your sister is winding
mm.
you up and you allow it, he's holding your emotion remote. If you say shut, pew, you get angry.
Mm,
If you
just
say start
controlling.
crying, you start doing this. So I'm thinking, who is holding your emotional remote? She goes, "Ah, no, I won't let her hold it. So stop reacting. You know, when they see that visual, they're like, oh, okay, this is what you mean. It just brings it to life. And when you just said that just now about
Mm,
telling your son, I could really relate to it because it resonates with what I'm going through sometimes. Thank you so
mhm,
much. And I know there are a lot of parents, that sibling
mhm,
winding each other up is so common, it's really, really common. I just want to really thank you for
mm,
honoring my invitation. You've shared a lot, and I do know, not even hope, I know that this will inform a lot of people on how to intentionally, you know, um, bring up your children, because sometimes we leave the environment, but we are still the environments. We are still
Mm,
very much traditional in our
mm,
approach, even though we are no longer there. We are still very, very much traditional. And you
mm,
are in a different environment, it's never gonna work. So you have to
mm.
learn how to adapt in a way that everybody is happy. Because a happy
mm.
child will be a good child to you. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
once again, man. I really do
Thank you
appreciate your
very much
time.
for
You're
inviting
very,
us.
Yes. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. You're welcome, sir. I know we shot a little bit, there were just too many gold to let you go like that. Have a blessed day, and I will speak to you later. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All
All
right.
right
Thank you
And
then.
very
for
Bye.
much.
Okay, and for our viewers, if you could just comment in the comment section what stood out for you, and don't just listen and also implement whatever stood out for you, because we are not just doing this for you to come and watch and get entertained. We want you to also learn from what it is that you've heard here today. These are lived experiences. These are not things that you Google and you find. These are the things that people have used, tried and tested, and it work. And if you can also make it your own, it will also work for you. Take care and God bless. Bye, sir. Bye, ma.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.